Cardinal, I appreciate that there's a reluctance to speak about any one specific Catholic, especially one that you've worshiped with. But in the case of the president, do you get a sense that his regular attendance and adherence to the faith resonates with American Catholics?
I would say that he's very sincere about his faith, but like a number of Catholics, he picks and chooses dimensions of the faith to highlight while ignoring or even contradicting other parts. There is a phrase that we have used in the past, a cafeteria Catholic. You choose that which is attractive and dismiss that which is challenging.
He actually calls him a cafeteria Catholic, picking and choosing the parts of the faith that he likes and ignoring the parts that he doesn't like.
Is there something on the menu he's not ordering, in your view?
Well,
so to speak?
I would say there are things, especially in terms of the life issues.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I remember people referring to the abortion discussion as a life issue. I know people who are against abortion are pro-life, and those who are for abortion consider themselves pro-choice. But Cardinal Wilton Gregory refers to this as a life issue.
There are things that he chooses to ignore, or he uses the current situation as a political pawn, rather than saying, look, my church believes this. I'm a good Catholic. I would like to believe this. Rather than to twist and turn some dimensions of the faith as a political advantage.
It's also possible to be a practitioner of the faith as a public leader and not require everyone that you lead in your country to be guided by all of the precepts of your faith, right?
And in my coverage of him, it seems
that's
what he believes.
That's what I would interpret.
Your concern is that he should be more explicit in his own personal belief, which is a personal opposition to abortion, but an understanding that as a public leader and in a free society, he's not to be placing that on everybody else.
He's not to place that on everybody else.
Right.
As expected, the lady gives a horrible point about how he shouldn't be pushing his Catholic views on other people. But then again, she believes that she is a bishop.
I'm curious, though, about whether his church-going, his faith, has resonated at all with fellow Catholics, because my sense of it is it hasn't necessarily. Is it supposed to? Should it matter? Is there any Biden effect in the pews, perhaps?
That's the host there basically saying, in a cloaked way, a lot of Catholics don't like Joe Biden. And that's true.
I would not put a lot of emphasis on that.
Okay.
He does attend church regularly with great, devotion. But he also steps aside some of the hot button issues, or uses the hot button issues as a political tool, which it's not the way I think we would want our faith to be used. The issues of life begin at the very beginning, and they conclude at natural death. And you can't pick and choose. You're either one who respects life in all of its dimensions, or you have to step aside and say, I'm not pro-life. I'm, in one side of the equation, I feel that I can support this dimension of life, but in others, I would step aside. My mentor, Cardinal Bernardin, for whom I was the auxiliary, he introduced a very important schema called the Consistent Ethic of Life, which received some very hostile reactions from people who wanted to focus only at the beginning moments of life. But at other times in human life, they would be reticent, and they feel that to have this spectrum of respect disenfranchises that dimension of the life issues that they want to underscore.
Well, let's be specific. I love the spectrum of life. I think you can be an adherent of the spectrum of life and still respect a woman's right to choose her in reproductive health, and including when to have an abortion in the early stages of pregnancy. So I'll just say that as a Christian, I believe that that's possible.
Well, I'm afraid it isn't possible, lady who believes she's the bishop, and another horrible point by you. But you got the picture there. Wilton Gregory, Cardinal Wilton Gregory, was essentially saying that Joe Biden is picking and choosing, and he decided to use the hot topic of abortion as his example, saying that Joe Biden seems to be okay with abortion and the woman's right to have an abortion. And that really isn't the teaching of his church. And so he should just come out and say, well, in this area, actually, I disagree with the church. And that's why, again, earlier he called him a Cafeteria Catholic, because he's picking and choosing. Now, I would say that is pretty good that Cardinal Wilton Gregory is saying that. Now, people might say, well, look, why is this special? There have been many priests and bishops in the Catholic Church who have called Biden out for some of his policies and some of the things he's said that don't seem to be Catholic at all. True, but Cardinal Wilton Gregory isn't known, how can I put this, as one of those what Pope Francis would call rigid Catholics. He isn't known to be on that side. He's known to be kind of a little bit more liberal in some areas. And so the fact that he's saying this is perhaps considered unusual and is a good thing. And he is also a cardinal in Washington, D.C., and that's where Joe Biden goes to church. Look, I'm very happy that Joe Biden goes to church regularly and that he prays the rosary regularly and he keeps one on him. But why is he doing these things on these important issues when he knows what his church teaches? You know, the man is, 82 now? I'm not going to try and claim to prophesize when he's going to die, but he might not have that many years left on this earth. Why would he choose the sort of last years of his life to do the things he's doing? Now, the interview with Cardinal Wilton Gregory and this lady was about half an hour long. It wasn't all good. At one point, Cardinal Wilton Gregory did call Islamic scripture sacred.
The Bible belongs to everyone, right? That's the general tenet.
It belongs to
belongs-
two great faith traditions, our Jewish brothers and sisters and our Christian brothers and sisters. But the sacred writings of the Islamic world and of the Sikhs, they too have holy rights that belong to their tradition.
Sure.
But on the point of Joe Biden, at the very least, what he said was correct. And he basically called him out, saying, look, you are picking and choosing the parts of the faith that you wish to follow. Leave your thoughts, please, in the comments. I'm very interested to read them. Thank you very much for watching the video. Have a blessed day.